What if honesty held the power to transform your destiny? That's what Lenny, a little lamb with big dreams, was about to discover. Lenny was no ordinary lamb. While most animals in the meadow enjoyed carefree days, Lenny's life was far from easy. His family often went hungry, struggling to scrape together enough pennies to buy grass or hay. Lenny was small for his age. He wore a pair of faded gray overalls with patches stitched onto the knees and chest. Still, he carried heavy bundles of sticks and wood from the forest to sell at the market. The money he earned was little, but he never gave up. His bright blue eyes shone with hope as he dreamed of a better life for his family. One morning, as sunlight spilled over the meadow like liquid gold, Lenny set out early to gather wood. The dew sparkled on the grass as birds chirped their morning songs. He worked hard, stacking sticks into a bundle almost too heavy for his small frame. As Lenny trudged along the path, carrying his heavy bundle of sticks, he spotted Sage coming down the same trail. Sage, the wise old sheep, always carried an air of quiet mystery. He wore a plain white robe, his silver-tipped staff tapping softly against the ground as he walked. Around his neck hung a small leather pouch, its contents unknown, but rumored to hold ancient relics or even enchanted seeds. The wise old sheep paused and smiled warmly at him. "Lenny," Sage said, "your honest and hard work will always bear amazing fruits. Never forget that." Lenny nodded shyly, but before he could reply, Sage continued on his way. Just moments later, something unusual caught his eye near the edge of the path. Nestled in a patch of grass was an apple, unlike any he had ever seen. It was made entirely of solid gold. Lenny picked it up carefully with his hooves, marveling at its weight and smooth surface. He looked around. There was no one in sight. Sage had disappeared at the end of the trail. "Wow! This must be magical," he said. His heart raced as he tucked the golden apple into his wool for safekeeping. With renewed energy, he picked up his bundle of sticks and hurried back home. On his way back to the barn, an idea struck Lenny. What if he sold the golden apple? Surely it was valuable enough to fetch many coins at the market. And with that money, he could buy good food and warm hay for his family. The thought filled him with excitement as he made his way into town. The bustling market square smelled of fresh bread and ripe fruit as vendors called out their wares. Lenny approached a gold vendor, a stout hyena wearing a brown suit and spectacles, and carefully showed him the apple. This is worth more coins than you could ever carry," exclaimed the hyena as he examined it closely. Lenny's heart raced at the thought of such riches. His family would never go hungry again. But as excitement bubbled inside him, so did doubt. He remembered something his mother always said: "What isn't yours will never truly bring you happiness." Torn by unease, Lenny decided not to sell it after all and returned home with the golden apple, still tucked safely in his wool. By evening, whispers began spreading across the meadow. Sage, the wise old sheep who occasionally visited their pasture, had lost something valuable during his recent visit. Though no one knew exactly what it was, animals speculated that it might have been something rare or magical. When Lenny heard this news, his heart sank. Could it be that this golden apple had belonged to Sage? Deep down, he knew what he had to do. That night, unable to sleep, Lenny made up his mind. He would return it back to Sage, no matter what it took. Sage lived far beyond their meadow on a steep hill, surrounded by dense forests and rocky trails. But despite his empty stomach and aching legs from days of hard work hauling wood, he pressed on. The forest grew darker as thick trees blocked out much of the sunlight. "I have to keep on going," he whispered to himself each time he stumbled. As hours passed, exhaustion weighed heavily on him. But thoughts of Sage searching for what was lost kept him moving forward. Finally, Lenny reached Sage's hilltop just as dusk began to fall. Lenny found Sage resting beneath a grand oak tree near his home. The wise old sheep looked up in surprise when Lenny approached him with trembling legs and lowered eyes. "I found this golden apple," Lenny said softly as he placed it before the Sage. "I thought about keeping it, even selling it, but I knew deep down it wasn't mine." Sage listened intently before smiling warmly. "You've done something remarkable," Sage said gently. "Even though you were struggling yourself, you chose truth over greed." As a reward for Lenny's honesty and selflessness, Sage handed him an ordinary-looking seed and instructed him to plant it near his home. Though puzzled by such a simple gift after all his effort, Lenny followed Sage's instructions faithfully, and overnight, something incredible happened. By morning, a magnificent tree had grown where Lenny had planted the seed. Its branches were full of lush green leaves, and among them hung bright red apples. But one apple glowed brilliantly in gold. "Wow! A golden apple!" he exclaimed, his heart swelling with gratitude. The golden apple was enough to solve his family's poverty. With its value, they were able to buy warm hay, plenty of food, and even repair their barn. When the next season arrived, Lenny was astonished to find another golden apple growing alongside the regular ones. This time, instead of keeping it for himself, he decided to use it as a symbol of honesty and courage, offering it as a reward to someone in their community who had shown exceptional kindness or integrity. Through this act, Lenny's tree became more than just a source of sustenance. It became a beacon of hope and a reminder that honesty and selflessness could transform lives. What you think? Did Sage leave the apple to test Lenny's virtue? Or was it simply fate that brought them together? Perhaps only Sage knows the truth. The moral of the story is, honesty is always rewarded. Sometimes in ways more magical than we can ever imagine. The end.